let's get into this craziness that is the Tropicana field. So yesterday we get the repair costs and what's going to happen. We have a column from John Romano, which once again, I just can't believe some of the stuff that's in there, but we'll get to all that. And we have the mayor, Ken Welch, talking about his plan to move forward with this ridiculous idea of a new stadium in a failed location. Now, we've gone through all that, but it has absolutely so much more meaning now post 2 hurricanes that have absolutely wrecked Pinellas County and the city of St. Petersburg, produced millions and millions of dollars worth of damage and obvious needs for money to be spent on stormwater drainage and repairs moving forward. And to even have the chance at a mulligan is an absolute blessing for both the commission and city council. And also the political makeup now of the Pinellas County Commission seems almost assuredly that they are going to reject the bonds that would pay for half of the stadium and then, or their part of the stadium. And that would sink the deal right there. It would end right there. And if they're smart, that's what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. So here's kind of the nuts and bolts of what we learned yesterday. So the repair on the Trop is going to be basically about $55 to $60 million. And by the way, these estimates are as loosely done as possible. I mean, you've really had that. Yes, they've had inspectors and people get in there. But folks, once you start repairing things like this, Timmy, have you ever tried to save a repair on something? Like you got something that's old and you're like, you know what? Let's see if we can rehab this thing. I think we can do this and we can do that. And then it'll be good as new. Right. And invariably what happens, you start tinkering around when then this breaks and then that breaks, you find out about this and then you find out about that. And oh, by the way, there's another hurricane going to be arriving in about a week. And it could go right over Tropicana Field once again. And the $6.5 million that they've already appropriated to kind of remediate everything that has already been done and cover it up so it doesn't get further damaged, they're not going to be able to do that in time. So they could get another 3 feet of rain in that place and even more damage. So this $6.5 million remediation price tag could go through the roof. And all of this stuff could go through the roof. None of these numbers that you're seeing here are the absolute cost. And I can tell you one thing, they ain't going down. They're not going to go down, right? That's not usually how it works, right?
No.
So these are all just estimates. And again, this is best case scenario. So according to the Times, the Tropicana Field can be repaired in time for the 26th season. So you're already going to lose the 25 season playing there, for $55.7 million. Estimates that Hurricane Milton caused $39 million in damage and additional $16 million in costs, such as design, permitting, insurance, inspection, staffing, and construction contingency. So that's all money that's got to go. Now you've also got a $22 million deductible, right? So the cost is going to be ridiculous. The St. Pete mayor, Ken Welch, and this is unbelievable. It says, according to the original 1995 with the team, the pact is suspended if the dome is not suitable for playing home games and shall be extended by 1 season so they can continue to play there. My initial reaction from Ken Welch speaking is that it did fall on the lower cost side. The lower cost side. Oh, we're going to be good. It's not that much money. Oh, my God. And the fact that our folks think it could be done quickly is really best case scenario for us. Dude, what are you spinning? What are you spinning? Now, this has become a vanity project that the city of St. Pete and specifically Ken Welch has got at all costs. It doesn't matter what it costs. We've got to keep the Rays. Oh, my God. Just write a blank check. It doesn't matter. We have to keep the Rays. Do you? Do you really? My God. He continues, at an obligation of the city under the existing agreement to provide a facility. And to me, it certainly would answer the question of where the Rays would play in 26 through 28, a repaired Trop. Oh, isn't that exciting? A repaired Trop, by the way, with what? Another fabric roof that's going to get torn off on the next hurricane? What are we doing? He says, I think it's best for all if the Rays are back home for the remainder of the existing agreement. Rays team president Matt Silverman said, quote, will continue to have discussions with the city about how to move forward. That's it. That's all you get from the Rays. For about a month now, that's all you got from the Rays. No, we're committed to Tampa Bay. We love our fans. We're going to figure this out. We're going to stay in the region. You took the Major League Baseball commissioner to say we're going to stay in the Tampa Bay region. That didn't come from Stu. No, it didn't. And think about that. The Major League Baseball commissioner said we're committed to Tampa Bay, not your owner, who just got a $1.3 billion stadium approved with hundreds of millions of dollars in discounts on real estate and everything else. But he could not stand up and say, no, we're going to stay in Tampa Bay. No, that was the commissioner. Think about that. And in John Romano's column, he says, hey, if the Rays don't provide a facility by contractually they're supposed to do, they're open to damaging costs. So you're telling me, John, that Stu Sternberg is going to sue the city of St. Petersburg if they can't play in Tropicana Field? Seriously, is he going to do that? After all that he just got, after bashing this city for so long and then getting all this corporate welfare, he's going to turn around and sue the city for this unfortunate thing? Really? That's what you're worried about. And if, as a columnist, you can't say that would be a really bad idea for Stu to do that. You're going to, what? If Stu Sternberg's going to sue the city because they can't provide a place to play, I'd like to see that. I would really like to see that. And in the statement that the mayor released, he said the city plans to meet its obligations to ensure that the Rays can play in St. Pete and the redevelopment of the historic gas plant district and the construction of a new stadium moving forward. As such, the city is implementing repairs to Tropicana Field with the hope it will be ready for play in the 2026 season. So we still have to figure out where we're playing in 25. We anticipate that the majority of repair costs incurred by the city will be covered by insurance and FEMA reimbursements. FEMA says you're eligible, but this is me speaking now. It says you're eligible, but nothing is guaranteed. And by the way, the insurance money is not guaranteed either at this point. And every insurance person I talked to said, you don't repair your roof and it's 10 years overdue, you don't get money. But that's something for another day. We got to spin it the best we can right now. He continues, making this approach both beneficial for community spirit and fiscally responsible for our community. Fiscally responsible for our community. Wow. Wow. Let's look at that. I have some charts.
Here we go.
We got color charts. Okay. See if we can do this. Okay. This is the cost to retain the Rays. See if we can get that right there. All right. $6.5 million to save the Trop now. That's in remediation costs to cover everything up. So this net, and by the way, and they're not going to be able to do it before this storm hits next week, if indeed it does. But there could be storms, other storms. You know, we have lots of rain here, by the way. So that's $6.5 million that you already had to spend. Okay. 30 to I'll take some music. 30 to 35 million to repair for 3 years of playing in the Trop. A repaired Trop, by the way. What's that going to look like? Mm-hmm. That's another 30 to 30, and that's at the low end. That's if there's no unexpected costs. Then you have $704 million to St. Pete, their payment in infrastructure and interest, not the $300 million that you see printed all the time. This is also the interest costs. And by the way, you have to pay interest if you're going to do bonds. So that's real money, which is never printed in the paper, but we always say about it here. $704 million. Okay. Then there's $587 million coming from Pinellas County for their part of the stadium. You think that money, that bed tax money, could be used better for rebuilding the beaches in future hurricanes? Because they do come. $411 million in lost real estate tax. All these coming from, by the way, nohomerun.com, and the study that they did was prepared by folks and administrators that have done these things before. These are all highly credible numbers, by the way. Go look at the website, nohomerun.com. We talked about it a lot. That's a total city and county cost of $1.7 billion to retain the Rays and build a stadium in a failed location that gives you last year 16,000 average attendance, 1.7, a lot of which is not coming from St. Pete, by the way. 16,000 average attendance. Will it bump with a new stadium? Maybe. Likely only for a little bit because you're still in the same failed location. $1.7 billion to retain a baseball team. And by the way, if they do leave, you know where they're going? Tampa. They're going to Tampa. There we go. By the way, I texted with Ken Hagan this morning. I said, is there still a pathway? He said, I'll say the same thing I've said many times. If it doesn't work out, you can always come back and chat with Hillsborough County. So, yes, there is a pathway. We have no money there. A true public-private partnership where there's not just a blank check written to a billionaire. Yes, it's the way to do it. So if you allow the Rays to go to Tampa, okay, you save $1.7 billion, okay, then just easily done. You could sell the real estate, the 86 acres, for a very, very conservative $750 million, likely closer to $1 billion or more to any developer that would jump at the chance. And they'll do all the infrastructure. They'll pay for everything. You don't have to pay for anything, citizens. You just sit back and collect money and have your downtown improve dramatically with what? A convention center that actually people from outside the area will come to in the millions. In the millions. And by the way, much of that will come from Tampa business, which you can stick it to them, which you so love to do. You can also build the museum too, because you just made a lot of money. And then you can have residential as well. You can have all kinds of commercial that you don't have to pay for. The developer does. Well, what can we use that money for, JP? Oh, it's great that you asked. We could repair the hurricane damage, including the beach repair, stormwater damage, which, by the way, there was tons. Lots of sewage that backed up into Tampa Bay. There's a lot to do. So the total adjusted benefit to the city of St. Petersburg and Pinellas County is a conservative $2.45 billion. $2.45 billion. If you just say, we can't afford the bonds, we get a mulligan thanks to the hurricanes, and now we can bring some sanity and some fiscal sanity to St. Petersburg, allow the Rays to move to Tampa, have them incur the cost of the new stadium. Most of it's going to be privately funded, by the way. There will be some public money, but privately funded, and not a blank check, and money that will return to the constituents and get some return on investment, whereas this deal that Ken Welch did gives you very little return on investment, hardly any, because it's such a horrible deal for the city and the county. Now, factually speaking, the county makeup of their commission includes two guys that the Rays spent $150,000 on trying to defeat in their elections. And what do you know? They won. And they're anti-stadium. So if the Pinellas County folks who have delayed their bond vote till actually this week, the 14th, right? Yes, tomorrow. And they may delay it even more just to get more answers. That sinks the whole deal. And if the people of St. Petersburg, and what do you think the people, if they got to vote on this today, if they got to, and they were denied the right to vote on it, by the way, because the Mayor Welch knew it would fail. They wouldn't even take a straw ballot because he knew it would fail remarkably. The people don't want it. And so now Mayor Welch and the commission, which is going to have a different makeup. Now he can force a vote before the commission sits for the new makeup, which would probably be a negative 4-3 vote and sink the deal as well. But he probably will try to push it through before the makeup happens because he's been doing this all along. Fiscally responsible. I can't believe he put that in the statement. Fiscally responsible, $2.45 billion in cost to the people of St. Petersburg to retain the Rays. To retain the Rays that you get 16,000 people at per game. Nobody goes. Your constituents don't go. Your own people who live in your county don't go and don't care. Most of it's from Hillsborough County. Like, this is the most fiscally irresponsible thing I've ever seen in my life. And we have an opportunity to do a mulligan. And I say we because I look at the Tampa Bay area that I've lived in for 27 years, including living in Pinellas County and spending a lot of my time and working in Pinellas County for much of that time, loving Pinellas County. I never see it as two different places. I always see it as the Tampa Bay area. And from a globalistic viewpoint, this is absolute insanity. Insanity to even be thinking about doing this. And so here we sit with a chance to have a mulligan and say, look, we have a much clearer perspective now of where we should be spending our money and what we should be doing with it. And luckily we have a chance to get rid of this deal, scrap it, and do it all over again. Now, you say, JP, well, that may mean we'll lose the Rays. I don't think that's going to happen. As I said, there is still a pathway to a stadium in Tampa, and it is not about Tampa versus St. Pete. I'm so sick of this. This is the beautiful area that we live in, and every part of it has great assets that make it, to me, the most beautiful part to live in and the most beautiful place to be. Pinellas County has beautiful beaches. Let's take care of them. Let's make them better. Let's use this money for more parking. Hell, I saw somebody talking about a skyway over the top to the beaches. What a great tourist attraction that would be. Let's make it greater for the tourists to come to the beaches, and a convention center that brings more heads and beds than baseball will ever even think about doing. Okay? And a baseball stadium in that area, that part just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's 81 games, Monday through Thursday. People don't show. It's too far to drive from the middle of the market. You know all the arguments, folks. They still exist. They still exist, and they're the most important part of this. Location, location, location. You are surrounded by water. If you draw a circle within 60 miles of that, 50% of it is water. Water. You build something in Tampa in the fairgrounds. I love my huge dual stadium idea.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that. That's a little too pie in the sky because I want to keep it grounded right here. All right. There is still an opportunity to build something that's fiscally responsible to the entire area. Tampa is the hub. That's where most of the businesses are. That's where the international airport is. It's the business center community. It's where the stadium should all be. It's not, oh, you've got this, then we should have this. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's called demographics. It's not, we want to keep our Rays because we feel we have an inferiority complex to Tampa. What are we doing? No, that's so childish and provincial. This is where the stadium should be. This is where the beautiful beaches and eclectic downtown is. That's freaking awesome. I love downtown St. Pete. I love Al Lang Field for soccer. I love the Vinoy. It's beautiful. It's awesome. You don't need a stadium that you're trying to push so hard to get just because you don't want to be the little brother. You're not. You're part of the family. You're not the little brother. You're part of the family, and you bring so much to the family. What you don't need is a baseball stadium. As a region, let's connect everything. Let's use some of this money for some comprehensive light rail that connects us instead of divides us. How about that idea? Have a rail from downtown St. Pete to downtown Tampa and a nice little stop. So the constituents that love baseball don't even have to worry about traffic. Zip, zip, zip. You're there. Let's bring some common sense to this. This is insanity what you're about to do. Sorry. I got to use the prop one more time. Look at that number. $2.45 billion. That's a lot. I can't even get with it. There it is. $245 billion. And what are you missing out on? Your constituents can still go to baseball games. It doesn't cost you anything. I've said this so many times. When Atlanta was going through that, when I was working there for a couple of years, and they announced the new Brave Stadium. And the mayor said, look, I didn't have money for the Brave Stadium. and they want to build it in Cobb County, let them build it. My constituents can still go to and I don't have to worry about paying the money. You didn't lose the Braves. You got a better stadium for everybody in a better spot where the fans are. That seems kind of smart. And I want to go down the blame game, but listen, you had a chance in 2018 to build this stadium in Tampa where it's supposed to be. It would be done. We wouldn't have these issues that we're having now. And it was irresponsible at the time for the owner to pull the plug because it was going to cost him a little bit of money. And it would have made him so much money in the long run. How much more valuable the franchise would be worth because your attendance would be so much more. But obviously it's always short term for that owner and never a view of what's best for the area, only what's best for him. And he sits here being completely silent while this complete fiasco plays off. So what do? Here's what you do. You vote it down. And you say that you looked at the Rays in the eye and say, really, you guys are going to sue us because we can't provide you a stadium? Really? Is that what you're going to do, Stu? Dare him to do it. Dare him to do it.
Yeah.
Dare him. And then say, here's what we're going to do is we're going to move. We're going to play in Steinbrenner Field for 3 years and start working on building a stadium in the Tampa area in the middle of the market where it always should be, where it always should have been, where Major League Baseball always wanted it to be, and end this sanity and do something that's fiscally responsible for the entire area. That's what we do. And it's not that hard to do. You can't play at Steinbrenner because it's a Yankee. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Major League Baseball will make that happen. They've already told me at the TSA that it's eminently doable with the minor league team there. That's not something it's unworkable. That what so many people say, you cover up all the Yankee signage with temporary signage, which you can do. It's easily done. And you make this your home as best you can for the 3 years while you bring people together in the market playing outdoors. Hey, that sounds fun. For 3 years in the middle of the market to a packed house every single night, 15,000 people. You're building momentum towards the Rays Stadium that's going to be built. You're coalescing the fan base together finally. And I would highly suggest Major League Baseball tell Stu to cash out, bring in a local owner who cares about this city and has demonstrated that. There's many to choose from, and there's local people here that still want to buy the Rays under this scenario. And we move everything forward. That's all that is positive moving forward. Anything else is completely negative and fiscally irresponsible to a place that's been wrecked by 2 hurricanes. Let's do the right thing.
And may have a third on the way.
And may have a third on the way. And something that will always exist, by the way. Can we just have some sanity to this, please?
Would you like to know how we do things here in North Texas, JP?
Sure, I would, yeah.
Because we just have 2 stadiums here built in the last 15 years, obviously. Yeah. Cowboy Stadium was the big one.
It's not that hard.
Of course, Arlington already has an infrastructure for this, all right? They just built the old Ranger Stadium, the ballpark in Arlington. It opened in 94. The Cowboys saw the growth that the city had there. They saw that the city offered literally everything. So the original Cowboy Stadium was going to cost $650 million.
Mm-hmm.
That was the initial price tag. The city of Arlington said, all right, you know what? We'll chip in $325. We'll pay for half.
Okay.
Jerry Jones said, cool deal. You know what? I'll privately fund the other half. And if there's any overages, it's on me. Appreciate you guys. City of Arlington already owned the land. They just went in and bulldozed a bunch of freaking houses in eminent domain, right? That was a neighborhood that was built in the 50s. All right. They just kicked everybody out of their houses and said, we're going to put a stadium here. Which, hey, progress.
They paid them. Right? They paid them handsomely.
Oh, they did. Trust me. I know 2 of the families that were in that neighborhood. So anything that goes over the 650, Jerry Jones said, I got it. You know what the final tab was for that stadium? $1.3 billion, over double the original cost.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry Jones, with the exception of $150 million, because that's what you get from the league now automatically when you build a stadium in the form of a loan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the city of Arlington, after the overages, said, you know what? We'll chip in another $150 because of all, just out of the grace of our hearts through other tax, raising taxes, hotel, motel, rental car, whatever, parking taxes. $1.3 billion, and Jerry Jones flipped over half of that out of his own money. The Rangers come along and said, hey, we want to build a new stadium. We need a roof. It's hot. We want to win a World Series.
Right.
The Rangers already owned the property the stadium was on because it was in a parking lot of their old stadium. City of Arlington says, cool, we'll flip half the bill. And it was $1.2 billion. City of Arlington flipped it, raised whatever. Rental car taxes through the tourism, right? That's how you do this.
Yeah.
Tourism.
Yeah. Right.
It's
not that hard.
No, the owner said, you know what? Any of the overages, I got. It's all on me.
That's what good owners do. That's what good owners do. And the problem and everybody wants to point fingers at Hillsborough doesn't have any money. Blah, blah, blah. It's been Stu Sternberg all along. You have willing owners. Look at all over baseball. Look at all over football. You have willing owners that want to partner with the community. This is not hard to do. When you have an owner that wants to soak every single penny out of the community and not pay for a damn thing himself, you can't get it done because most of the sane politicians, Rick Kreisman, Baker, every other mayor, the city of Tampa is like, no, we're not giving you a blank check, bro. I know you want to be here, and he did want to be here. They've said it many times, but they come to Hillsborough and go, you got to pay for everything. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. You want to do a public-private partnership? We'd be happy to do it. And they've bent over backwards hundreds of times and tried to get something done. But this guy is intransigent, and he refuses to deal in good faith. And this is what you get. And all these things that are happening right now, hurricanes, that's bad. None of it should have happened. That building is 10 years past its use, and everybody knows it should have been replaced. And when the owner, who would be fiscally responsible and has now made $2 billion on his investment, $1.5 billion conservatively, can't come out of his pocket to make things happen. It's unconscionable that Major League Baseball would allow this to continue to happen. Let him sell, take your huge freaking profits, get the hell out, and bring somebody in who cares about this place and cares about Tampa Bay and wants to do the right thing and make it happen. Major League Baseball, a lot of this is on you.
Yeah.
A lot of this is on you.
This should never have gotten to this point.
Yes.
If Major League Baseball steps in.
Absolutely.
Which makes you wonder, does Major League Baseball really care about baseball in Tampa?
They do.
I know, but it's a bad look.
Smart. They're not stupid. There's a lot of money to be made here.
Right, but it's a bad. What I'm saying is it's a bad look for baseball.
It is a bad look. It's a really bad look. And now you're going to have two teams playing in minor league stadiums that didn't have to happen. And in both cases, the owners have been the problem. In both cases, John Fisher, Stu Sternberg, the owners have been the problem. In other places, these things get done quite easily because there's a lot of money for everybody to make. So
yeah, it's bad.
We'll revisit this in about a half an hour because right now we have to talk about another weighty issue in the Tampa Bay sports community